Hi children, let us learn about triangles basics today. What is a triangle? A triangle is a polygon with three sides, three angles and three vertices. These are called the vertices A, B and C. It has three sides AB, BC and AC. The three angles are angle A, angle B and angle C. Now let's move on to the types of triangles based on the sides. Now what is an equilateral triangle? If in a triangle ABC, all the three sides measure the same. AB is equal to BC is equal to AC. For example, all the three are 3 centimeters. Then such a triangle is called an equilateral triangle. Next, what is an isosceles triangle? Again, we look into triangle ABC where only two sides are equal. That is, AB is equal to 3 centimeters, AC is also equal to 3 centimeters, but BC is different, say 4 centimeters. Then this triangle is called an isosceles triangle. A scaling triangle is one in which no two sides are equal. That is, AB is 3 centimeters, AC is 2 centimeters and say BC is 4 centimeters. No two sides are equal. Such a triangle is called a scalene triangle. I hope all of you understood. Next, we'll move on to types of triangles based on angles. In a triangle, as you all know, there are three angles A, B, C. Now, if all the three angles of the triangle measure less than 90 degrees, that is acute, all angles are acute, then it is called an acute angled triangle. If one of the angle is greater than 90 degrees and it forms an obtuse angle, then it is called an obtuse angled triangle. If one of the angle is 90 degrees, then it is called a right angled triangle. I hope it's clear. Now, there is one important property of an isosceles triangle other than two sides being equal. That is, the base angles are also equal. That is, this angle opposite to equal sides are equal. That is, if AB is equal to AC, the angle opposite to AB is angle C. Angle C is equal to angle B. Clear? Equilateral triangle. As you all know, all three sides are equal. AB is equal to AC is equal to BC. And all the angles are also equal. Now, what is the measure of each angle of an equilateral triangle? It is 60 degrees. We already know that the sum of the angles of a triangle adds up to 180 degrees. So, when you divide it by 3, 3 6 are 18 makes 60 degrees. So, each angle is equal to 60 degrees in an equilateral triangle. Just to note, the area of an equilateral triangle is equal to root 3 by 4 a squared. Now what is this a? A is the measure of the side. You know that all sides are equal. It is a measure of a side. Coming to median. What is a median? A median refers to the line joining the vertex, one of the vertex, to the midpoint of the opposite side. When you say midpoint, the point M divides the line BC into two equal halves. That is, BM is equal to MC. As you all can see, there are three vertices. So, you will have three medians. M, N and O. You have CN and BO. Now, all these three medians meet at a point called the centroid. Then comes the altitude. Another name for height of a triangle is altitude. Now, altitude is a perpendicular drop from the vertex to the opposite side. Perpendicular means a line which makes 90 degrees with the base. AD is perpendicular to BC. AD is called the altitude. Just like you have three medians in a triangle, you also have three altitudes in a triangle. 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, and 90 degrees here. So, the point where all the three altitudes meet is called the orthocenter. Okay. So, the difference between the median and the altitude is clear. In an isosceles triangle, please note the median and the altitude is the same. That is, the line joining the vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. That is, you need to make a note that these are the two sides which are equal. In this case, AM is also the median and AM is also the altitude. Now, two important theorems in triangle is the angle sum property of a triangle, which is the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. And the other one is the exterior angle, which is formed when you extend one of the sides of the triangle, is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles. That is, if you call this angle A and this as B and C is your exterior angle, C is equal to A plus B. Now coming to the relationship between the lengths of the triangle. Okay. So you have a triangle whose measures of the lengths is A, B, C. When you add up any two lengths, it is always greater than the third one. That is, A plus B is greater than C, B plus C is greater than A plus C is greater than B. Similarly, the difference is also less than the third side. A minus B is always less than C, B minus C is less than A, and A minus C is less than B. Now coming to the most important theorem which is involved in triangles is the Pythagoras theorem. In a right-angled triangle, A, B, C, right-angled at B, this is called the hypotenuse. That is, the side opposite to the right angle is called the hypotenuse. And the other two sides are either called the legs, or this is the altitude because it makes 90 degree, and this is the base of the triangle. The square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. Please note, this is a very, very important theorem in triangles. Now, here are few properties of equilateral triangle. I think it's always nice to know the special properties of equilateral triangle. Consider a triangle ABC, which is equilateral. AB is equal to BC is equal to AC. You already know that all three sides are equal. All three angles are equal. It has three lines of symmetry. The altitude, median, angular bisector and the perpendicular line are the same. The orthocenter and the centroid is also the same. Orthocenter is the point where all the altitudes meet and centroid is the point where all the medians meet. Let us discuss the properties of isosceles triangle in my next video. Thank you, children.